happening YouTube? I hope you guys are well. We're here right now in northern Finland. We took the train this morning. We're here for a swim competition. Not just any swim competition, my first ever swim competition in my life at 35 years of age. So this is exciting. The reason why I do this is several reasons. So first of all, of course, I want to become a better swimmer. I want to grow. It's kind of a, I have my main quest character line, and this is kind of a side quest. And it's kind of, I like competing, I like the competition side, so they have them twice a year, the Masters one, and also long course championships of the Masters. They're 50 meter, long course means 50 meter pool lane, and they have the short course in March, which I'll do again. I'll do this every single year now, October and March, and really I know exactly where I want to go as well, especially with the 400 meter time and 800 meter time, because they're very relevant for triathlon. As well, that just raw speed always determines your thresholds and everything. So I have my targets there, of course, where I want to go. And the first baseline basically is now today with the competition. 800 meter tonight. Let's go. Swimming man.
Yeah.
From the club.
No, I was just running out my old, they were worn out, so.
Yeah,
I'll keep them up here, but then we can go to the changing room. I think we just need to get the shot.
This is a swimming version of the Triathlon Expo. A bit smaller, but plenty of stuff. As you can see, you can really get shopping now. Change last minute gear like triathletes do. Like maybe it's more aqua dynamic. So we have to get the aero brain in the swimming world. Maybe maybe I save a tenth of a second with this one. I hear they wear XXS pants. Really squeeze literally the seconds out of it. But no, that's not gonna be me.
Yet.
So Petri just talked about the long swim trunks, they would have at the Olympics and everything. But I'm not gonna get those. But, yeah, but it's the own world. Yeah, maybe at some point I will. But I think I'll just go with the ones that I have. But it's the own world, you can already tell. It's nice. Side quest.
Ekusta Rotalan Pette. Miten se menikään tässä? Onko sitä nimellä vai?
Kuinka seurataan joku vaan joukkueenjohtaja? Onko teillä
I thought I'd share some things that I learned now before the competition, specific for this, as a person that didn't grow up with swim events. I swam in high school, but not like competitive college or anything like that, right? So I always could do flip turns, learned all those things when I started swimming, right? And when I started swimming, I had like probably 145 threshold. I had quite okay mechanics, or maybe 130-ish threshold when I started. But so some things that I learned. The first one is, for example, the flip turn. So most of you guys know the basics, but some things, for example, is when you swim a swim competition, you swim logically as a triathlete. You don't notice, you never swim there because you're always training with normal people in a lane. But obviously you want to have the shortest line, so most people swim in the middle on the black line, so you're literally shortest line. But then you look Patinieri in Olympics and he changes, so hard to say. But yeah, the flip turn, one thing is important that I learned that was new for me is that you rotate first, that you land with your feet like 45 degrees. Because I had it a bit more straight, because when you land 45 degrees and push up, you kind of don't have to rotate in the water as much, so it's quicker. Another one was I was pushing a bit bad off the wall, that I was kind of under 90 degrees with the knees, because when you think about it with a squat, you have the most power from like 90 up. So I was too close to the wall, and then you lose power with a push-off. Another one was I had my feet too narrow, because when you think about it, squatting with your feet narrow, you don't have a lot of power, do you? So you actually, I thought it looked cleaner, and I just made it up myself, I had no idea. So I thought, really narrow, but that's not power, right? So a bit wider stance with a push-up, you can create a lot more power. That's that, and yeah. some other things, but maybe let's leave it at that. Maybe 7. So the way it basically works is also what I had to learn with the start, right? You have these 2 beeps and then you get ready, then you have 1 and then I say finish word and then it's like the noise after go. Practiced that a few times before. Had a little bit of a funny moment because I mean the other side when you zoom in it really looks like there's the starting area, it's like the carpet, everything you see like in Olympics, like this is the starting area. You do some jumps there, super narrow, like literally you hit your nose almost, it's like yeah great, now I have to learn how to not dive too deep. But yeah, turns out it's on this end, so all good. I can dive normally deep. So what are my goals for the race? Oh, there's just one starting, 1 second. So my goals for the race, because it's an 800 meter race, right? First of all, of course, it takes you 100 meters for heart rate and lactate and everything to catch up. So really important that the first 100 I hold back a little bit because you're so fresh. I'm in a full training week. I train normally basically, except for yesterday, a little bit less intensity and carb load a bit more yesterday. But otherwise, you know, it's the same. But so first 100, control it a little bit. In general, until 400, you know, keep a smooth, strong rhythm. But then after 400, you can really push. But yeah.
Ja tältä 800 vapaudilta pitkältä altaalta vuosina naisuimareille. Viime vuonna tämän voitti Espokiponin ja Marin Kasvio ja nyt sitten miesten kisa on käynnissä. Ja ensimmäinen 240 näin hyvässä seurassa. Noin sekunnin kovempi kuin aiempi vauhti. 13 joten hyvin näyttää sitä äskeisellä vielä 5 on sitten kakkos.
What's happening, guys? So that was event number 1, 800 done, my first 800. I felt good, felt alright, and it was 10:23 in the end, which is like 1:16 average. Like I think 10:26 is 1:17 average, and I did 10:23. I was a bit surprised. It was a bit slow, I would say, on the slower side, but it's in the range of the threshold or whatever. But it's, I know what I did wrong. For example, I didn't have there you just see how if you don't have this pattern of just effort, then you have to think about all the small pieces. And this is a competition, it's a different scenario. It's not your little home pool session. So like you have the nerves, you forget things. And I didn't have a clean kick for sure, not this rhythm which I had last Sunday when I had a great session in the pool, which would indicate that I can hit this 1:15 pace for sure. Petri, my friend, he hit a 10 flat, so 1:15 exactly. And I think I definitely have that in me right now. But yeah, that's racing and learning. It's a nice little side puzzle. And I'm so competitive, sometimes I hate it about myself. I take this just as serious as pro triathlon, makes absolutely zero difference. When I came out, looked at the clock like fuck, as if nobody cares, only me. But it's the same in triathlon, right? But yeah, tomorrow I get revenge. It's 400 meters tomorrow. And there I will kick. Anyways, food and then that's it for today. Just another quick breakdown, things that went well and things that I want to work on. So first of all, I got second in my age group at my first swim event. That's also, you have to forget also the objectives. There's also one. And I never did an 800 like that. But you compare to your training times, you have the expectations, blah, blah. This is kind of the weak thing, but you have to objectively, okay, what did you do well? For example, what I really focused on was controlling the first 100 and I paced that well. The effort and the front end of the stroke. I was really focused on that effort and this front end of the stroke. And then things that completely went away, which is just, racing is a different scenario. It's not like, your training session. If I would have had, let's say, hundreds or 200s in the training session and you see a time you're 2 seconds off, for example, it's like, okay, the effort, you're clearly not doing something technically why you're not hitting those times. And then you adjust it and the next time I hit it with the same effort. But now it's a race, you don't have this luxury, right? So, but I for sure know what I did. So first, like I said, the two things that I want to revenge for tomorrow, the main goal, because I got 400 tomorrow, I'm so happy I can revenge myself, because the whole scenario is still in the same realm. You had 800 meters now and 400. So two things I want to nail, which I didn't do now, and that cost me easily 2 seconds per 100. First, I didn't have a nice kick rhythm because I was so busy with the brain and the front end. I didn't have this nice rhythm that I had last Sunday in the training session. 100% not. Kicks were offline. You can see in the swim as well. And the turns. I just didn't have strong, powerful turns. I wasn't focused on it. I was kind of turning, but not like a competition turn, like a training turn. So yeah, those two things are the goal for tomorrow. And already looking forward to it. So otherwise, I paced well, effort well. Breathing, really got the arms hurting the last 300, 300-ish, so perfect with that. Lactate high, breathing high, rhythm was good, and pull phase was good. Yeah, just kicking and turns. That's my goal for tomorrow, the 400. Let's see how it goes. Good night. No, it fits. Alright, got it all. What's happening? It's the next morning now. Slept really well. I'm going for a 90-minute long run now. It's now morning time, and tonight we got the second swim meet, the 400. Yeah, I'm doing this in a normal training week, right? I'm not doing anything specific to, let's say, prepare for peak performance for a swim event. I don't care that much about the performance, right? It's like an average day performance, which still shows a lot, and it can be the same for a triathlon race as well. So yeah, and having a nice 90-minute long run. It's like 5-6 degrees, so a bit fresher. Time to get the gloves out. I got my little really small nutrition pouch. The Omara has some really nice ones, different sizes. This one is really small. Take some gels with as well, just to be carved up, especially for the swim that way. And also for further training. Tomorrow I have some good stuff coming up with some threshold and some other things on the bike. Should be nice and sunny. Look forward to it. And also had a little reflection last night. Really specific goals for the 400 now. Main thing, the strong turns, as I said, and the kicking rhythm. That triggered me a little bit because it's just my own. But then I thought about it. First, you think this weak mindset, like, yeah, you didn't grow up with swimming. Like, for them it comes natural to kick like that, the rhythm. But that's not true. When you listen to, especially my wife, she works with the best swimmers here in Finland as a physio, and talked about that as well. Like, they have the same process. Like, they have to consciously from their brain say, okay, I do this in a swim. I have to actively fire the leg kicking. I have to actively think about the breathing pattern, and then they say afterwards the competition, for example, she told me, I didn't think about the breathing, I just breathed 3 times there. It's a very conscious thing, even the ones that grew up with it. So you can imagine if you didn't grow up with it and you're training it, it's the same as for them. So, but it just happens maybe more easily because it's a bit less natural for you, right? So yesterday I didn't think about this kick rhythm because I felt good, effort, arms really spot on. I thought, boom, this is what I did in training. But just a few days before, like I said in the last video, I had this really good threshold session in the pool. And I just, I mean, if you look at my legs, they are flipping heavy and muscle used for cycling and running, right? If you have Katie Ledecky legs, right, she can do this little bit, because if you put a swimmer on a bike, well, they're not going to bike very well because they don't have the leg muscles. They jump well, that's all they need, right? They need the jumps, and otherwise no muscle in there. So so if you don't kick as a triathlete, you get double punished because muscle is very heavy in the water. It will drop like hell. So if you don't kick gentle, efficient as a triathlete, you get double punished versus a swimmer. So anyways, I'm going to show you tonight how my kick is going to be beautiful, and the push off the wall in the 400 is going to be poetry. What's happening, guys? After my beautiful run here, really enjoying it, really feeling good. I did some nice changes to my run technique, kind of by force, if you really think everything is happening for you, not to you, which is a change I had to make, but I did that now in the last year. If you really think like that, everything is a playground for you. Like even negative things. I had like hamstring tension in the run, and if you really check why is that, why do you have that, and for example what I fix now in the process of fixing it is my I jumped for 8 years on my left hip with handball, and even when I went to chiropractor and stuff, I always had this pelvis tilt. I never had issues with running, but like I knew it's not efficient, right? So if you want to run 3:30 pace or quicker for a full Ironman, efficiency is king, right? I mean, everybody knows, but I don't think everybody treats it that way. So for example, I do some changes now, and it took a lot of work just to figure out what exactly it needs with my wife. So there, the 20 years of sport physio experience really come into play. We had to really dig deep, and now we found this warm-up routine for me. And now I really have to focus on those things because my hip extension is completely different. And I can see it now with 161 cadence, very low right now, but I get the same paces at so lower heart rates. So that means if I pick up the pace, it's basically same as swimming, right? I don't think everybody treats it that way. In cycling you don't have it so much with the cycling efficiency, a little bit, but not so much. But running and swimming people think about like distance per stroke, the longer that is, plus cadence that creates speed, very simple. But in a run, it's the same, right? Like how much distance per run stroke do you get? And I now got with these changes, I don't know in centimeters, but 3 to 5 centimeters per stroke, which requires obviously really amazing mobility. And if you look at all the top runners that run well in Ironman, most of them have very good hip extension and mobility in the actual hips. Otherwise you can't generate that speed and hold it. You can generate it for shorter with the burst, but you're going against your own joint mobility. But that's my rant. So that's what I'm working on, and yeah, I have my clues now for running. It's I love this puzzle. Yeah, beautiful run here. Check this out. Woo. Love it. One quick thing I want to finish, which I had yesterday, talked about the 2 main things I learned for everybody like you. If you want to try a swim competition and you're like me, had no idea how to dive properly, had no idea how to do a proper flip turn, the flip turn part I tried to explain yesterday. I hope that made sense. But now the other part was the dive. When I started practicing that, I was terrible. And I don't mean like, oh, he's a pro license, he's probably basics, okay? No, I was terrible. Like flopping legs, not straight leg, terrible. Which is totally okay, never done it, never anybody taught me. Then I got taught by this one girl from Cetos, the swim club. She explained it to me and how it basically works. Also some funny history. The diving blocks, actually the part in the back where you put the rear foot on, that didn't exist in the 80s, 90s. So they dove basically even before that, like a ski position they were taught, I heard from the other guys from the swim meet. And so all those things changed. But you have the block, right? And I, for example, thought, the front leg is the one that you have in front, the stronger one that makes most of the dive propulsion, or just jump, you know. But that's not necessarily true. So how it actually happens, how it works is you put the rear leg on the top of this little ramp on the back, right? And the front leg obviously on the front, and the hands down, and you really grip it. Then how it works is that you actually first push with the rear leg. Imagine like a sprinter run position. It's basically like you're starting to run into the water. That just made mentally so much sense. I always put everything on the front leg and almost got cramps in the calves. So if you do it like that, it's like a natural run position for all of us that probably run. So it's like natural. You start from the back. You don't lean back with the hip. Hips really high, go down. And then you start with pushing the rear leg off, and then you put the pressure on the front, jump, and at the same time really squeeze, really push with the lats, with the arms, and then head forward. One thing I saw when I analyzed, luckily we took some pictures and I analyzed the dives. Luckily exactly in slow-mo the pictures. And next to me was the guy who was still swimming in the Finnish championship, a very good swimmer. So he's having really good dives obviously. And I saw my angle was too flat. I was really, they most have a little bit higher and then quite steep angle, like, I don't know, 45 degrees probably. And that way they don't have that splash, meaning they go pretty deep. I thought, because I did in the beginning go too deep, I believe. So this way I went too flat, and if you go in like this, no matter how much speed you have, you can imagine if you go at a 25 degree angle, you can imagine that, yeah, your legs in the end they will hit the water. So they were straighter now and I produced some speed, but my angle has to change. So why is it relevant for pro triathlon? Most of the times it's not, but there are races that have a pontoon, and this is a skill that doesn't come overnight. You have to practice this. So if you, for example, have done a race where there's a pontoon and you jump in, and everybody that grew up swimming and practiced this, they're gonna gain 3 meters on you, 2-3 meters, without doing a single stroke. You're already behind. Front, back, bye, good night. So this is a skill that's very relevant. Turns, not so much, no, not at all. But proper diving, definitely is. So this is the reason why I'm doing this. Beautiful run done, just nice low heart rate and focusing on the technique, which took a lot. I even took 2-3 steps while I walked, just to reset kind of core and everything, because it takes a lot of focus to run that clean. But it's paying off big time. I have really low heart rates. I run 135 heart rate for 430 pace. That's very good. 140 starts my low zone 2. Normally I run between 150 and 160, and at this point I know where I want to go, and it takes every second of your life, and I want it that way. Actually, when I worked in Switzerland there, I got into this funny elite circle with patients through one doctor, and one of the guys, incredibly nice, like first generation wealth. He was top 10 in the Forbes list, like several hundreds of billions, doesn't matter. But he was first generation, he made it all himself. He was actually in his 80s and he had a really challenging thing coming up, double knee prosthesis, and he wanted to play tennis again. So we had this really challenging goal and we made it work. And anyways, the reason why I tell you about this guy is that he never stopped, right? He was in his 80s and he still worked. And people think about, okay, what's the reward, what's the outcome with this? Like, it's just you know, we have so much limited time on this planet, we don't know when it's over anyways. I mean, that's why I want to live my life. I really want to squeeze everything out of it that I can. I don't know when it's over, but I'm gonna do absolutely everything now for this project, what I love, which for the next, I don't know, several years is gonna be every second of my life to make it to the top of the sport, and it's gonna take every second of your life. And if you're not willing to do that, and everything comes into play, and you're not sleeping at night, I mean, I'm sorry, to some extent you have to be ruthless. You're fighting against guys who are, when you think about the Michael Jordan kind of era and Kobe Bryant, it takes every second of your life. It has to be priority number one, not two, not three, one, if you want to make it to the top of the world of top sport. You can have top 10 and top 5. Everybody has his journey, and it's totally fine, but I know how I want to live my life. I spend the majority of my life living my life for other people and for other people's dreams, and that made me really depressed and in a dark place. When I was there in Zurich at night, you had your car that got from 0 to 100 in 3 seconds. You got more money in the bank account. You're just spending it for useless stuff. You're just spending more. It's also a fact about people in Switzerland a lot that I learned about there. They make 20k a month, but they spend 25 each month. So they're actually big time in the hole. If you're getting more money, you're just spending more. That's a reality for most people. So it made no purpose. I drove around at night in my car, depressed as hell, like society and people around me told me everything is good, everything is great, but I was at my lowest. I'm like, what the hell am I doing here with my life? This is absolutely useless. And eventually this pain drove me to the thing, to my calling, something I always knew. And the clearest moment of that, I talked about that in one podcast, was when I was in 2018 in Kona the second time. I was running just up Palani Road and then on the highway. Good time to talk about it now. Today is World Champs again in Kona. Just running up, and I was just slugging along, and then on the other side of the road the pros came back towards the finish line, and I think it was the top 10 pros, and it was just really quiet there. It's like here now, it's not a single sound, and it hit me like a lightning, almost that strong that I had to really walk for a moment. Like, it was an out of body experience. I can't explain it. I didn't fabricate it or anything. I'm not telling you this for a nice story. Like, it hit me really hard, like, and it almost a voice. It said like, what the hell are you doing? You should be on the other side of the road. Like, and it's like, that was the biggest, clearest thing. And from then on, it was 2018 only. It took still several years of pain and darkness to force me to the change. And I wouldn't be here with all the things I learned. So it's not like, oh, I wish, I was in my 20s right now. I wouldn't be ready in my 20s. I feel like I'm 20. I'm way stronger than I was with 20 physically. I have no orthopedic injuries. Yes, I'm 35, but you can't compare 35 with pro elite. If you do 20 years of elite sports and you're 35, I mean, your body is a bit in a different condition than mine. I mean, year 2, heading now towards 3, I did 12 years of age group racing. That's why this age thing, if you believe age is a number, if you believe age is a thing, and yeah, okay, I'm old, and you keep telling yourself that, I'm 40, I'm like, I'm retired, I'm 65, I'm sitting in a chair waiting to die. Yeah, well, if you keep talking like that, then that's gonna happen. But if you say, yeah, screw that, that's just a number, and I don't believe in those people that talk about those things, because yeah, when you look at the age group podiums of the 70-year-old guys, they look like they're 50, and they are fitter than people that are in their 30s. So forget all that, all those norms, they're all fabricated. So anyways, that's my rant, and heading back now, get some food in. We're good in the time. It's 3:45 now. At 4:30, as I said, I will start my warm-up. I need for sure minimum 10 minutes of dry land warm-up, open everything up, and do some new things as well to activate the learning from yesterday, activate the hip flexor in a long position, right? It's not like running in a short position or cycling, but it needs to be like elongated position, and then quick kicks, and of course in the water then the actual one, some dynamic things to activate the legs and the rhythm, especially do some 25s in this 400 rhythm that I got coming, and do some nice turns, strong, just get it in the brain pattern that it stays fresh in there, and then that's it, and we smash the 400. maybe it's time for the real swim pants, huh? The tight ones. My next swim meet. I might lose a second or two for free without the pants. Nah, probably not. Not today. Okay, see you later. On two, I already feel so much more like a veteran of the sport. It's like your first pro race. Like everything is new, and most people, of course, you also like anything that's new. Everybody is nervous with it and excited about it, and most people then decide just because something that's like scaring you or something. This is a sign I shouldn't do it. Mostly behind the fear of behind something that, as I say, like if there's something behind the fear, if you unlock that, if you go through that, behind that door, there's a lot of cool stuff waiting, no matter what it is. So already now, second time, I feel like, all right, I did this before yesterday. It's a whole nother game. Same with pro racing stuff. So much is, of course, the mind, right, and everything. So it's now just before 4. I'll actually go over already there. I'll start swimming at 4:30. I'll do some nice dry land warm-up stuff before in peace. Really get the run out of my hips. That's really key for a good kick. And yeah, it'll be nice.
Hello. I think Matti today swim 4,000 meters better than she think. We think Matti will swim today 400 meters better than he thinks.
Neljäntenä sekä Sanna Hokkanen. Matti Weitz.
Yeah, it was fun. Oh, my arms. It's full lactic acid, but that's stuff you gotta train. I blew up big time. But doesn't matter, it's exactly what I wanted. Like, no fear, go in. And then if you can hold it or not. And all those things come out if you can have a good efficient kick when you're full of lactate, like, or like unconditioned for it. So I gotta train kick. But I'm really happy with what I did. So I don't know the splits, but the first 200 were good. And then the lactic acid shower came. So no, it was fun. Exactly what I wanted. 5:02 in the end, but I exploded into a million pieces lactate wise. But tried to do what I could. So no, that was fun. Definitely hit my limit. Oh, my arm. Now I know what you mean, because yesterday I could just push myself out of the pool. Today not. Also lactic acid in the legs and stuff. And then it's like, how much do you cope with lactic acid in such an aerobic sport? But that's what you gotta learn. So I look forward to progressing. This is baseline and go on from there. I'm gonna go cool down a little bit in the pool. Got another medal. There was, I want to show you splits. That was a master class in how not to pace. Beautiful. I want to show you the splits. That was so fun though. It's exactly what I wanted. I'm gonna do this like I already talked about Petri, every 6 to latest 8 weeks. Like in training, like a 400 and a 200 time trial. Full out. Because this is just...
Yeah, you're sweet.
There than there. Alright. So check this out. I got second, which is cool. So overall time 5:02. But now check this out. First 50, 31:74. So 31. Then 100, 106. I just do the 200. So from 106 and 100, I went to 222 and 200, which is already a big old drop off. Then 300, 341, and then 400, 502. So from between 200, I went 222, and 400, 502. So another 20 seconds on top. Ooh. But what's cool to see, right? What's also interesting with that is it's cool that you see the times, because you don't have that in actual triathlon. But you see, for example, if you're really full of lactate, like more lactate isn't possible, what kind of pace do you drop down to? And that's cool to see that I'm dropping to 39-second pace, somewhere in there. And if I pace it better, that's why I want to do it again. I would like to do it again in 2 days, but I have to train as well. But yeah, pace those. I think if I hit them at 110, which again requires a lot of pacing to feel what that feels like, I think 440 is in the cards if I do it right, but not right now, obviously, otherwise I would have done it. But yeah, so step by step. That's enough swimming, enough talking for one video. Thanks so much for following, and I hope that inspires you to also try a swim competition. They're really fun for all the triathletes out there. There's challenge yourself. You don't have to be a swimmer, like I'm not, and there's so many here that are not swimmers. Most of them, to be honest, not most, but a lot of them. They just pick up swimming and they do these events to have fun. So check them out. Every country has them, I'm sure. So thanks for following. If you like this type of stuff, feel free to subscribe and leave a comment below. What do you want to see next? I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.